look, we tastemakers, groundbreakers. We crown shakers, moved us out the margin, we're writing, that's how we found paper. Hustle nature, since we was riding back on the scooter razors.
Today is the 30th of January, and today I have 2-year anniversary since I left my last job. I remember this day very well. I just landed in Bali and I received this news from my employer, and I honestly felt really relieved, because it's been a long time since I wanted to quit. But not this specific job, because this job was amazing. There's been a long time since I wanted to work for myself, but I couldn't make this move. So I was really happy and relieved that the world, the universe actually helped me to do it. I knew straight away that I'm not going to look for another job. And I also knew that I'm ready to take the leap of faith and become an entrepreneur, what I want to do for a while. What I didn't know back then is how difficult it's going to be. And in this video, I just want to share some personal thoughts on what has been my experience so far, building my business, but also building this business in Bali, and how I feel exactly today, 2 years after everything started. I think most of my friends, and I hope the viewers of this channel, see me as a very optimistic person. But today my optimism is challenged. Last month was pretty hard. I was working a lot, but I must honestly say that last 2 years were pretty hard. And even though this was the most intense years when it comes to personal growth, when it comes to experiences, when it comes to how many skills I acquired, how much I learned, how much different things I tried, and how much I stretched my comfort zone, most of this time in the last 2 years was also followed by anxieties, insecurities, self-doubt, and constant questioning, like, what the hell am I doing? And now, reflecting back on last 2 years, this question is as valid as never before. What the hell am I doing? And why it doesn't work the way how I wish it worked? And I deeply believe, and I always think, that all the effort is going to pay off eventually. And the only way to lose is to quit. If you keep doing this, if you keep growing, if you keep trying, eventually all this experience is going to add up and bring to greatness. But this greatness is not coming and not coming and not coming. And these moments of doubt is something which I experienced a lot in the last 2 years, and I experience this right now while I'm recording this video. When I started out in early 2023, my goal for the year was to match my last salary. So by the end of 2023, to have exactly the same salary as it was before. 2 years later, it still didn't happen. And with my first businesses and with my first project, we always had like a really positive start, very dynamic start. And then it all kind of slipped down to some shit show, like surviving every day. This breakfast in rainy season in Bali. Jesus himself. Today is Monday, and unlike usually, I made myself a day off. Well, I still was working a bit, but today I changed the focus. It's 4 p.m. now. I will hit the gym. I have a strength workout today and then mobility training. I want to go to sleep early today, so I wake up tomorrow full of energy again.
We crown shakers, moved us out the margin, we're writing, that's how we found paper. Hustle nature, since we was riding back on the scooter razors. Had no stable footing since then, I've been an earthquaker. Brown sugar and cinnamon, don't think that I'm the greatest, I just settle for the synonyms. Hey, they wonder what's got it into him. I took a couple losses, I'm trying to win again and win again and win again. I ain't taking minimums, my destiny was written in. Coming with a different sin, coming with a different stench.
I will start by giving you a bit of a context. Like, as you might know, I was born in Russia in a really small town, and then I moved to St. Petersburg to study engineering there. And after that, I moved to Germany, to Stuttgart, city which is famous for its engineering, to get a master's degree. I didn't pay for my education because education in Germany is free, and this was the reason why I chose this country. And after that, for a few years, I was building my career in product management. I didn't go to engineering direction. I found that product is way more exciting. And I worked for companies like Mercedes-Benz, like Amazon, a bunch of startups in Berlin. And exactly 2 years ago, I left my last employer, actually while being in Bali as a tourist. And this is when my entrepreneurial journey started, like step by step. That being said, right now I'm working on 2 main things, basically. First one is AI automation services. I build custom AI solutions, mostly for marketing and sales teams in startups, in agencies, but also in traditional businesses. I'm excited about this vertical. However, I'm struggling a bit because I don't have a proper funnel, and this is something which I need to set up as soon as possible, because service-based business is always 1 month away from being broke if you don't have a proper funnel. So until now, most of my clients were coming from recommendations from my personal network, and I really want to change this. And I will explain you how exactly I will do it. And the second area of my focus is building my own apps. Being completely honest with you, I'd love to fully focus on building products rather than doing services. However, the reality is this: the service-based business gives more or less predictable cash flow, especially if you have a funnel. That's why I'm still excited to do it. I'm learning a lot because I pivoted 100% from product management, from bringing products to the market, to AI services, so custom AI solutions like automations, agents, and combination of both. And my goal for this year is to kind of transition, like when the DJ changes songs, slowly putting volume on the current one and increasing the volume at the same time on the next one. So this is what I also want to do, to move from service businesses to more like product factory. And how it is building a business in Bali? I've been doing this since last 1.5 years, and it has pros and cons, but for me personally, pros outweigh cons like big time. What I love about this is something which I wouldn't trade for any kind of money, is the fact that we have access to incredible nature, one of the best places in the world for surfing, amazing community. I see green color all the time because of the jungle around. I see blue color because of the ocean. It's sunny and warm all the time, especially in the south of Bali where I live. Community here is really like health aware, and people really put a lot of importance to the physical health, to the mental health. In general, it's an amazing vibes, very supportive community. This is what I really like. I love that every single day I have access to something which I would have paid thousands and thousands of dollars to get if I lived in a big city. It also comes to basic like quality of food, accessibility of food, quality of services. I really appreciate what I have in Bali, especially for the price which I'm paying. On the other side, what I found as a big challenge is to stay focused. This is something which I am practicing right now. To be honest, like if I started a YouTube channel maybe a year ago, you would never see me working as hard as I do right now. So this is the new skill which I want to practice. I want to have at least 4 or 6 hours of really deep focus work every single day, because this is the only way how to build something significant. This is the only way to achieve the goals which I have and enjoy life and do surfing and do sports the rest of the time. Before that, I didn't have this balance. I was mostly out all the time, enjoying everything Bali can offer. And I still want to do it, but more balanced with achieving my professional goals. Another thing which I'm still working on is building a community of people who do very, very similar things. The community in where I live in the south of Bali is incredible. A lot of people have the e-commerce business, a lot of people do real estate, marketing, everything related to fitness, but there are not that many people who do what I do, building tech businesses. And this is something which I'm working on, to build and strengthen this community, because professional growth depends a lot on people who you surround yourself with. And if I want to grow in tech, I need to be surrounded also by people who are growing in tech. All right, enough about me. Let's get some work done. I feel so official now, like going to an office properly dressed up. It's a good opportunity to change the work environment, to show you the co-working space. I used to go to the one which is most central because I lived close by, and now I go to the one which is close to my house. It's also very nice, but I never went there to work, so let's try something new today. It's Friday afternoon, and I just pushed and deployed the very last changes to adsrapido, which I wanted to implement before the public launch. The app is finally production ready. Everything is exactly as I wanted, and it works great. So I'm looking forward to start the distribution and to get the first customers, hopefully. I guess everyone is preparing now, because you see, it's just like the tide goes up very, very fast.
think it goes until 12 and like over 2 meters.
Okay, I am actually excited because apparently I'm going to surf Uluwatu. One of the goals I had for first quarter 2025 is to start meditating again. I had a lot of momentum after my Vipassana retreat, but then I stopped doing this. So guess how many times I meditated in January? 0. Not a single time. It's beginning of February, so let's fix it. Let's meditate a little bit. In one of my previous videos, I talked about meditation and why it's important for me. And I can clearly see that exactly since I stopped doing it, it backfired in quality of my sleep, in mood swings, and in general, I don't feel very balanced. So I don't think it's a coincidence, and yeah, plan for February, go back to shape again. In life and business, we often tend to overcomplicate things. I do it all the time. But there is a famous quote from Tim Ferriss, and he says, "How would it look like if it was easy?" And there's another quote from Charlie Munger when he was asked how he managed to run such a successful company. He said, "We build systems so simple that an idiot can run them. And then we take a smart person to run them." And every time when I think, okay, how can I get to the next level? Like, how can I elevate? These huge ideas come to me. Okay, I will do this and then this and this, and then I kind of bring myself back and remind me about these questions. And also the book which I read now also suggests that there are 1,000 ways how to get to 2x. So if you want to double what you have right now, there is 1 million ways because the goal is not ambitious enough. But if you want to do 10x of what you do right now, there's most probably very, very few ways, or maybe even just one way how to get there. Which again brings to simplicity. What I learned from observing successful people and in general, like from my personal experience as well, usually greatness comes from simplicity. Of course, it's easy to say, it's easy to read a chapter in the book or get inspired by a person, like how can I translate this to my business? And because I'm running 2 projects at the same time, it needs to be optimized. It needs to be really simple, and this is what I came up with. Because both of my projects are B2B, the logical way is to just promote on LinkedIn. This is what I thought a year ago, but to be honest, that's exactly what I don't want to do. That's the place where I feel so much unauthentic that I don't even want to touch it. LinkedIn is a great way to get information. It's a really great way to get the updates and the news about what's happening in the industry, but I think for me it's a horrible way to connect, to be authentic, because it's all about sales. So let's start with my AI automation services. There's only one thing which will bring this business to the next level, and this is the proper funnel, something I mentioned many times. And if I thought, okay, if I just take one KPI which I could focus on in the funnel, this would be calls. Because I like to do sales calls, I feel pretty confident, and usually I have relatively high close rate from a call to a client. But the issue is that I'm not getting that much calls because there is like nothing on the top of this funnel. So how to get there? You probably have heard about lead magnets. So lead magnets, it's basically free value in exchange of a contact information, rather email or social media. So lead magnets is the most working way in B2B. However, I think most of the lead magnets suck. They really don't give much value, they promise. And then basically their goal is to get an email of a potential client and then bombard them with emails. So usually how it works, you get lead magnet, then you have low ticket product, and then you have high ticket. That's it. And meanwhile, you always kind of build a relationship with the client. It works both for B2C and B2B. So I don't want to reinvent the wheel, so I will do kind of the same. So let's start with lead magnets. So what I'm planning to do is I want to build some sort of a matrix because I have a few niches which I think would benefit the most from my services, and then I have few favorite lead magnets. For example, let's say this is niche number 1, this is niche number 2, this is niche number 3, and then lead magnet 1, etc. So for every niche, I want to create lead magnet of every single type. Let's say lead magnet number 1, it's like a PDF. I'm not going to do this, but just an example. So what would be a PDF for marketing agencies? What would be a PDF for startups? What would be a PDF for some other businesses, right? So I do it here. So the second one will be, for example, video. Short video about some specific problem. What will be a video for this? What will be a video for that? What will be a video here? And the third will be like emails, email course. So it means that I need to create 9 lead magnets and then distribute them for every niche and see which one of them works. Let's say for niche 1, this is the best. For niche 2, video was performing the best. And let's say for email, for niche 3, which will be, I don't know, this lead magnet was performing the best. And then just double down on this. I think by providing real value, this simple method could succeed. The challenges here is that you really need to provide value. It needs to be very, very helpful. And also it takes a bit of time to kind of build a relationship with the client. And how I'm planning to build these lead magnets. So there is enough supply on the internet, right? So there is a lot of videos on YouTube, a lot of podcasts, a lot of white papers and everything. Like there are a lot of information, right? But it doesn't necessarily apply to these niches. So I will basically see what people from these niches are looking for. I will see what is there, what is there in supply, and then combine these two to make like a niche specific lead magnet. And then multiply it by, it can be 3, it can be 5, it can be 25, and see what of them works. I will give this hypothesis a fair try. So I will probably take the whole February and March. On the one hand, it's really helpful to set up goals. On the other hand, a lot of goals are set with very little information and awareness. But for the next 5 months, I want to do 100 calls. It's not a lot actually. If it was like evenly distributed, it's 1 call a day. Probably it won't be like this. It will be step by step. But by experimenting and see what actually gives value to the prospect, I think I have a good chance to get to this goal. And now let's talk about adsrapido. So my goal for adsrapido is really to learn how to build a product and market the product from idea to financial success, hopefully. As of now, I already have a few early users and I want to gradually add more. So how I'm going to do it? So first I will check on LinkedIn and see who my potential users are following, right? Let's say there is a popular voice who talks about the topic of ads, of marketing and AI in marketing, right? As I said, I have anxiety about LinkedIn. I don't feel very authentic there, so I don't want to grow my audience there that much, but also it takes a lot of time. So what I can do instead is just like I take the audience of this person. So I see who follows him. I see who engages with their content, puts likes and happy faces, right? So I take this audience because I know they're interested in the topic and approach them. So this will be my first step, just to approach all these people and say, look, this is my product. My second step will be to create a lookalike audience, right? It's an advertisement term. Lookalike audience. So to see, okay, who are these people? What are their titles? What are their jobs? Where are they from, right? And build some sort of a persona based on this information. Because it's not a hypothesis. I know they're already curious about this topic, right? And then to get leads and then based on this persona, I can build lookalike audience on Facebook ads, and I can also get their emails based on titles. And then with emails, I just run standard marketing campaign. And then for ads, I can basically compare I do broad, which means I let Facebook decide who to show it, or I do custom audience. This will be the step number 1. This will be step number 2. And step number 3 will be launch a product hunt. If you don't know, Product Hunt is #1 platform in the world for new startups and new tech businesses. So this will be also the strategy for the upcoming weeks. And yeah, in addition to that, of course, documenting my journey on YouTube, keep researching, keep growing, keep experimenting, keep reading books, keep surfing, keep having fun. That will be the goal for February. And speaking of having fun, let's go grab a coffee, let's lift some weights, or find some waves.
Gleb, where are we surfing?
Impossibles. Mission Impossibles.
Mission Impossible, exactly. Let's see how long we get until the storm comes. Wet season storm. How do I look? Good. So we just got an amazing session, and thank you very much, Paul, for this great idea. Paul,
That's the impossibles.
Paul is a good friend of mine.
It's not altogether impossible.
Together it's possible.
Yeah.
All right, now let's go grab some coffee, breakfast, workouts, reflection, work, as always.
Okay, I'm wrapping up the week, doing a retrospective for last week, but also for the January, with reflecting on the vision boards and pyramid of clarity, which I made for 2024. I always start retrospective. It's the 3rd time I'm doing retrospective, and I already see the benefits. And what I usually do, I start with my vision board for 2025, and I also did this pyramid of clarity, which I mentioned in my previous videos. 1 month of 2025 is over, and I just want to look once again on the pyramid of clarity about my basically what I should say yes to, what I should say no to. And also, to be honest, this book which I'm reading now, 10x is better than 2x, is very thought-provoking, and I was reading it today and I was already reflecting on what I showed you before. I think I get really stuck in this 2x thinking, 2x mindset, and it doesn't serve me well. I'm thinking, okay, if I want to really grow, if I want to elevate, and if I really want to come to the next level, like putting more work will not help. Like getting more calls, only getting more calls will not help. Only sending more emails will not help. Only building more projects will not help. Spending more hours will not help. If I want to 10x what I have now, the way how I feel, and also the way how much money I earn, I need to really reinvent myself again. And I need to think about these very few ways which can bring me there. Yeah, I want to spend maybe an hour now to reflect on this. I also planned the video for the next week. I think it's going to be very interesting, different from this week. And yeah, and then I'll probably see the sunset, meet my friends, and call it a night. And as always, I invite you to drop a comment below. Let me know what you like about these videos, which other topics you would like me to cover. Subscribe to the channel not to miss new videos, which are, by the way, coming every week. Connect to me on Instagram, and I wish you an amazing week ahead. Keep pushing, keep following your curiosity, and yeah, let's all plan 10x, not 2x. And because I get so inspired by this book, I also want to leave you with one question. In anything you pursue, like your business or work, career, your hobbies, your passions, whatever, think about how could you 10x this. Not how to make it slightly better, not how to double it, but how to make it 10x. It's just such an interesting exercise, and I'm sure we all know the answer deep inside. But even thinking about this and also answering this question is kind of scary. It's kind of terrifying. And I think following another quote which I like is that happiness is on the other side of fear. I personally have a few hypotheses. I personally know the answer. What should I do in order to 10x what I have? But I'm so terrified to go there. And this is something I'm going to work on next week. Bye.